Welcome back to Salty 7, and I am so happy to have Gregory with us today. Gregory, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here in Galveston, Texas. It's a great, it's a nice day today. I'm glad we set up outside. And thanks for letting me wear my glasses.
No problem. We are excited to visit about your spiritual journey and, the recent event that we happened to be together at, which was Nashville. So
Yeah.
why don't we get started with that? How did you get started on your spiritual journey?
Well, I didn't know it was a spiritual journey at first. I'd probably about a year and a half ago, I was kind of looking for answers. My brother was slowly dying from cancer, and we knew it, and he had been battling with it for 2 years, and it was a tough thing to watch somebody die in slow motion like that. And so I was just kind of looking for answers of how I could feel better, And so I kind of ran across, as we met with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I found him on YouTube and on the internet, connected with the science behind, like what you mentioned earlier, you did as well too. Connected with the science that he puts behind the meditation. And so it totally, I kind of got into it, I started meditating, but I'm not going to lie, the meditation, it was tough for me. It was tough to put on a mask and sit there and stare into the darkness, the blackness for 45 minutes.
It was so new, right?
Well, new, and just I didn't understand it. He recommends like meditating for an hour a day, and I was going, dude, I'm gonna go broke doing this, man. Like I'm not gonna.
How could I sit still with myself for an hour?
Yeah, like how am I gonna? I'm not gonna have any friends. Like I'm not gonna have a girlfriend. So you don't think I'm a freak. And but I knew something was there because I've met over my whole life. I've kind of met people that talk about meditation. They all seem to be very reasonable people. They're not crazy kooks or anything.
Right.
So I knew there had to be something there that I wasn't experiencing and I didn't know about. So I kind of stuck with it. But really, I kind of got into Dr. Joe. I started meditating and then went to, he had an event. I got online. I got a ticket, and it was to Marco Island last year, which was 2023. It was January. And so I got a ticket to the event, and once I bought that ticket, I kind of went, well, I'm not going to meditate. We got this event coming up, and we're probably going to do a lot of meditating. I don't want to overdo it,
Right.
That's what I thought. But where I was at with meditation, I felt like if I went to his week-long event, that by the end of it, I would have a better understanding of what meditation was, and I would find out if it was for me or not. And plus, his event was in Florida in the wintertime, and I was going, man, if this thing sucks, I'll just go to the beach. And that's kind
Sounds a little familiar.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I'll just bail and go to the beach, and that's a good time right there. So, but I did. I showed up to his event in Marco Island, and got there. And the first day, it was a terrible. I showed up late, about 15 minutes. I didn't miss anything, but I didn't have time to take a shower. I had dirty clothes on from the day before. I only slept like an hour. So I was like really disappointed in myself. I was like, man, when am I going to be an adult? I can't show up, and I paid all this money for this event, and I'm supposed to really have an understanding of meditation. I can't even show up on time. I was really disappointed in myself, and I was miserable. I was cranky. I only slept for an hour. And so we did a meditation, went through that. That seemed like it was going normal as it always does. And then the second meditation, I said, you know what, I'm just going to kind of check out on this meditation. And the best thing I could probably do is just maybe take a nap during this. Then maybe I can kind of make the best of the day. And then I can get some energy back and be able to focus,
Yep.
And so we go into the meditation, and that meditation, he said, start off by focusing your energy on your heart. And so I started just to pay attention there, but I was kind of like jokingly, just being sarcastic. I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to focus on my heart right here. Whatever, dude.
Typical guy thing, right?
Yeah, I'd already,
whatever.
just kind of checked out of this meditation. And so that's what the effort that I was willing to put into, which I think is important to tell. And so I just started focusing on this area of my heart with no other. It wasn't, I'm deep in my heart. I'm inside of I've got this. It wasn't making it a big thing. It was just like, all right, there it is, whatever. And so I kind of sat there, and after about 4 or 5 minutes, my body started just moving like this, a little bit back and forth like that. And I was noticing it and going, man. I said I was a little bit sick too. I thought, as I told you earlier, I thought I maybe took a little too much Dayquil or something. I thought I had overdosed. Man, I probably took too much Dayquil. Good Lord. And
It's awesome.
so I was sitting there, and as I was kind of slowly rocking back and forth, I was noticing, but then it just got more and more, and it was just like this, just my whole body kind of swaying. And then it got more like this, and I was going, man, this is different. And I'm going, you know, I started to feel that separation from my mind and my body right then. And then all of a sudden it just turned loose, and my body just started shaking erratically. My head, I felt like was going to fall off, and I'm not going to lie, I felt like I was having a seizure. So I freaked out. I took my mask off and looked around, and I felt like I was at a different event, like I was at the wrong event, because I looked around and it looked like everybody else was watching a romantic comedy on an airplane. And I'm sitting there
Freaking
going
out.
through hell. I mean, it just this, had these wild experiences. So and I think I'm having a seizure. So I go up and talk to the ladies in the green hats, which the green hats are, these events are kind of like meditation experts to help people with, if you have any questions about meditation at this particular Dr. Joe Dispenza event. And so I went and talked to them, and I was like, you know, listen, I think I'm having a seizure, you know. They said, oh, and I explained to them what happened. They were like, oh, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You're okay. And I was like, no, I'm not okay. I'm not asking you. I'm letting you know that I'm not okay.
I'm really not okay, man.
Yeah, no, I'm really not. But, you know, so I kind of assessed myself, and I was like, you know, I'm not bleeding. I'm not hurting anywhere. But, you know, clearly my body was shaking, and I was not doing this. It was very involuntary. Now, he had demonstrated people earlier that had gotten up on stage and shaken on stage. And I thought it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. And I personally thought they were paid actors. I mean, I'm not going to lie. But I wasn't associating them with me, because I was going, well, they're different. They're paid actors. I'm like, I'm not doing this. You know, this is involuntary, you know. And so I went back, I put on the mask, and I went back to shaking again. And I just started having all this stuff fly through my face of just these memories of just stuff that I couldn't, the stuff I hadn't thought of in years, the stuff that I forgot about, you know? And it just started coming up. I started having every emotion come out, the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't ever want to do this again, but I'm ready to hop on the ride again. My shirt was soaking wet from sweat. I was crying. I didn't have any energy in my body. I could barely use my muscles.
Wow.
We get done with that meditation, and I felt like I got beat up by Mike Tyson, man. I mean, I was rolled around. I mean, it was a really hard thing to go through, and I considered leaving. I really did, and I had to have the women with the green hat women kind of talk me off the ledge a little bit. I said, you know, I paid a lot of money. This is totally just what, I did not think this was something to do with meditation. I literally went and got into meditation thinking that, well, like, all right, well, you meditate and you feel a little less stressed. I didn't think that this was a thing, to be able to see these visions and have this stuff happen, and have your body shake. I mean, it was totally blowing my mind. And so that was that first meditation that I connected with, and then we come back and we do another meditation. I said, well, there's no way it's going to happen again. That was like a one-time experience. It's unique. There might even be something wrong with me. That's why it's happening like this, you know? I wasn't ruling that out, because I've never experienced this before. And so the second meditation happened, and all of a sudden my body started shaking again. I started having everything flying through my mind. And, you know, as I'd realized that, well, I can maybe talk about that later, but, you know, I started having all these just the past, the future, the present moment. I mean, I never experienced anything like it before. It's like I closed my eyes and opened my eyes up somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a powerful thing.
Now, as you've gone to other events, and I think you've mentioned that you've been to 6 now total events?
Let's see. Yeah, but I think 6. Yeah.
6?
Yeah.
So that was your first one you're talking about.
That's the first one. Yeah.
And have you had similar experiences at any of the other events after that?
Well, not as powerful as what had happened at that first event.
As far as the emotional release, right?
Well, that and just everything that the experiences that I had, you know, at that first retreat, as I was going through all that, at the end, Dr. Joe told us to all lay down, and I actually had a conversation with my brother that had passed, and so yeah, that got pretty powerful, and it was very heavy, and it was, like I said, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. So that definitely is kind of the top of the top of the food chain of experiences I've had. Yeah. I could talk more about that, but I've also had other experiences. I've had things come to me. I've had just answers. I mean, problems being solved. They show up. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what you do. Dr. Joe says something about, you know, when you get into this meditation, deep, connected in a deep meditation, it's like you can look. You know, it's like you can finally get outside of the jar and read the ingredients on the label there.
Yeah.
And it's true. I go, oh man, I was a jerk. I am a jerk to that person. Or you can kind of actually see yourself from a different perspective, a different light, and it's a powerful thing. It's almost this whole meditation thing that I had from that first experience is I felt like I got the cheat code to life. I mean, it.
I love that, cheat code to life.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
it totally. You know, you get an inside look of what you need to be doing, and it's a powerful thing. So, yeah, that's so I have had other experiences,
Yeah.
but nothing as powerful as that first time.
Well, seeing your deceased brother in a vision and having the opportunity to share, you know, I don't know if you know my whole story, but I lost my father when I was 13, and that was a very traumatic event for me, and that's been some of the emotional releases and forgiveness and resentment that I have to let go and in that process. And so to have an opportunity where I could visit with my father, I mean, I don't know if I really would like that, if I, you know, what I could gain from that, but that's pretty powerful. I can imagine what that would be like.
Yeah, you know, since that's happened, I've talked to a lot of people because I did a video that a lot of people reached out to me. That was when I did a video talking about my experience, and so many people had said that. You know, wow, that's so beautiful. You got to meet with I would love for something like that to happen. And it's easy for them to say that.
I know.
It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I wouldn't take it back for the world, but it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And it's easy to say that, but I wouldn't, you know, it's hard to understand. And, you know, I think it's something people want once you get there. I'm not saying that that's just my experience.
Yeah.
It was a tough thing to deal with. For one, I was very naive. I didn't know that was something that was possible. I also think that's why these things came about, was because I was very naive. Like I said, I just thought meditation was just you meditate and you feel a little less stressed. I didn't know I could talk to my brother. I didn't know my body could shake. I didn't know you could see stuff. I didn't know you could start hallucinating. I didn't know just that you were going to remember things you never thought of. I didn't know that my chest was going to explode and feel like, you know, have this sensation of just, you know, just this amazing feeling and sustain that for weeks, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, or maybe
No,
get
it
off
does.
the reservation there.
I want to go back to, you said you were very relaxed, no expectations. Those are my words.
Yeah.
To coming into your first meditation, you said naive. Have you noticed, and have you had to fight through the feelings of expectation? Have you noticed that you've gravitated more to that, and how have you coped with that?
When you're talking about expectation.
Well,
No,
you
so-
go into a meditation looking for something or
Yes.
expecting something to happen, and it doesn't happen. You know how Dr. Joe talks about his mystical experience at the events, and he kept trying and trying, and would he wear the special underwear? You know, the jokes he
Yeah.
makes. But you know, I mean, we all go through that, and I know I could talk about mine, but I want to hear your side of that.
Sure, yeah, I will say that I think because I kind of got hit over the head really hard with my first experience compared to other people's stories. I don't say that in an egotistical sense. That's just my observation from talking to
Yeah.
other people. And so I don't go in with any expectations ever. I know that I meditate. I meditate every day for the most part. You know, there's some days that I just can't make it. But I'm a lifelong meditator now, so I know those experiences are coming. The experiences are coming, so I don't obsess with, you know, oh, this next meditation has got to happen here. You know, it may happen, it may not, and I'm fine with it either way, because those exciting ones, they're fun to talk about, and they're coming. As long as I'm still meditating, they're going to happen. But I also believe that those mundane meditations, those are the ones that are really doing the long-lasting change. Those mystical experience ones are bizarre. They're crazy to talk about and share with people, and there's something that'll hit you over the head, and they can change a lot really fast. But I personally believe that you don't have to have those in order to make meditation work for you. And I think a lot of people obsess about that. And they get hung up on wanting to try to get those mystical experiences. And they wonder why they never have them. I think one of the reasons why I had that experience is because I wasn't looking for it. I didn't know it existed. Now, if you know that that's something that's possible now, just you got to get over yourself and quit worrying about trying to have mystical experiences, because it's really not about that, in my opinion. You know, it is fun, it's exciting, and it can make an impact on your life, but so can just these mundane meditations. I tell people, don't get caught up in that, you know.
Well,
don't make it about then. Don't. But you to answer your question, I'm sorry. If you meditate, don't have any expectations. And what I hear from a lot of people is they're struggling with even connecting with the meditation, but they're also wanting to come in and fix cancer that they have in their body. They're wanting to fix their financial situation, their girlfriend, and whatever mental problems that they have. And I don't blame them, but they're having a hard time connecting with the meditation. And you're going, all right, well, this meditation, I'm going to fix all my problems within this one meditation. This is a journey for a reason, and I believe that it's a journey. It's not something that's a quick fix in one day. Some things can be fixed very quickly, but this is something you continually do, and you're going to see results that you didn't even know. You're going to have results in your life that you didn't even know you needed down the road, because I've experienced that as well too. So
I'd like to interject. You could. I personally believe you could fix all those things in one meditation. The problem is, and the reason the journey is necessary, is because there's things that are inside of us that limit us, right? What we're talking about with meditation is truly limitless. The only limiter is what's inside you or me.
Sure.
You know, and we have a journey to go through to work those things out. So I don't know.
No, I agree with you. But what I find is we were talking about the expectations. People expect to do one meditation, they're going to solve everything. But I think from my experience, and I'm not saying that I tell people that I'm not like a meditation expert. I can't really tell you what to do, but I think that I'm probably really good at telling you what you shouldn't be doing. And that's where I'm probably more valuable with helping someone be able to connect with this. I don't know how to do it, but I can tell you what not to do. And I think that that's, you know, a lot of people bring all that baggage along. It can't. I believe it can totally be fixed, but to have that expectation going into the meditation is where you can kind of get caught up and lost and not get the results you want and find frustration. You know,
Dr. Joe talks about that too. You know, stories of how people were working hard on their healing every meditation and getting frustrated, and then all of a sudden they say, you know what, I'm tired of trying to working on this. I'm just going to start working on just being happy and being whole, and then boom, all of a sudden they heal.
Almost every testimonial that I've seen, I don't watch a lot of them, but I know that a lot of people do, but almost all of them I do, there's a common thread. You can tell they go, well, I just gave up. There's some kind of little story they go where I quit caring so much, and then all of a sudden it worked. But they spent 6 months caring about an outcome and expectations, and then they get frustrated and they give up, and then it all of a sudden pops up.
So here's a great question. How do you stop caring?
That is a good question.
Because if that's necessary, then dang it, let's stop caring today.
Well, I think that you have to stop caring. You got to get over yourself. It's not about you. And if you're going to make this meditation about yourself, even though you are involved in this, but you have to just let go. And I tell people it's like hooking up the cell phone to the computer. You just have to make that connection. I don't understand what that happens during that time, but once you if you can make that connection, it takes care of itself. So you have to quit caring. Meditation is going to fix things that you didn't even know you had a problem. You think this is your problem. Well, it's going to fix the foundation of what it's sitting on to where this is going to crumble. So it's going to it's going to not give you what you want, but I think it'll give you what you need, which in return will fix a lot of these things. I'm not saying I know with 100% certainty. This is my own experience, and this is my experience. So but it's not about you. It's not about what you want, really. It's just about, you just need to focus on connecting with the meditation. The meditation knows what you need, and so you got to quit caring about. I tell people, you got to quit trying to design the meditation. So many people want to come in and go, well, I want it to be like this, and I want it to be like that. If you're doing that, then you're probably struggling to connect with the meditation. You got to just hook it up and quit caring. Let the computer sync up with the cell phone and let it do its job. You don't have to know what's going on all the time. So
Thank you for saying that.
I think that's kind of what I think I was answering your question.
Well, no, you're speaking to my heart right now, because that's the kind of guy I used to be. I used to get into that meditation. I'm super analytical. My career path is science-based, so everything is like A plus B equals C in my head.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, I got to do this, 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 and this. Similar to what Dr. Joe talks about in his lecture on mystical experiences. But I really today, thankfully, I feel like I've graduated more to, I just want to meditate to meditate.
Yeah.
Quit trying to work this stuff out. You can throw it in there. I think my wife even says this to me on occasion. She's like, do the meditation, and when at the end, if you want to throw in something, go ahead. You don't have to do a specific meditation just to manifest.
Yeah.
But if you're really touching source and you're getting into that present moment, and I've noticed that lately. You talk about the people looking like they're watching a romantic comedy. Well, why is that? Well, it's because they're sitting there with a smile on their face,
Right.
And,
yeah.
And I just feel so happy and relaxed, and so now I'm doing it more for that than I am to try to manifest a career or a house or whatever people try to manifest.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I can't argue with you on that. That's great. One thing I've noticed is there's no step-by-step guide that works for every person. There's a lot of things, and what you have to do is you just have to turn down the volume of you have to turn down the volume of the things that of your past and how you want this meditation to look. You just have to try to turn that volume down, and then you have to kind of play with it. What you do works for you and your wife. She does things. She's gotten great results. And how I go about it, I say I just focus on my heart. Everybody does something a little different. You have to kind of play with it to find what kind of connects with you.
They don't call it practicing for nothing.
Right. And so some people focus on their breath. They focus on a word. I focus on my heart. There's not one way to do it for one person. We're all wired up differently, and so there's certain things that you definitely shouldn't be doing, but after that, you kind of have to play around with this. And Dr. Joe does a great job of getting people there, but there's also other ways of doing it than just his way, too. So you don't have to get hung up on, well, this and this and this equals me meditating, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I want to throw out a phrase, and then I want to see what it means to you.
Okay, I'm nervous.
The phrase is, everything always works out for us.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Well,
Is that a good enough zinger for you?
Yeah, no, I can handle it. I told you earlier I don't mind zingers. To me, it means that, like you said, everything works out. And actually, it's one thing to say that, but to actually have it in your soul and your heart, have your heart behind that saying, then it's gonna be all right. We were talking about that earlier. You were talking about a career. I was talking about my career. We don't know what we're gonna do in a year, but now that we meditate and we kind of take on, I take on that same belief too. I know it's going to be okay, and I have the confidence with meditation to be able to even believe in that. That I don't know where my life's going to be in a year, but because of meditation and the things that I've learned, I know it will be all right. So it makes it easy and less scary to go through life. It's like I got a backup. I got somebody walking with me that say, "Hey, don't worry, we're going to get you there."
It's coming to me right now, just that we have very little that we can actually realistically control in our life, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there was a man who told me about the 3-foot rule in the military. You only worry about what's within 3 feet of you, right? Because anything outside of 3 feet is outside your reach.
Yeah.
And so if we walk through our life worrying about what's to come in a year, we can't control that.
Yeah.
And now what is that going to do? It's going to stress us out, put us in fight or flight. It ruins everything we've been working on. Now we're down in our first 3 centers. And so to say, I'm not going to worry about that, that everything will work out. Some people say, oh, that's poppycock. That's foolish. Why are you so laissez-faire about your life?
Yeah.
Well, my retort to that would be, what are you going to do except kill yourself? Worrying about it, because that's literally what happens inside your body. My wife had issues because she was constantly worrying. Her body starts to shut down. It's legitimate. Your body, when you're in fight or flight, Dr. Joe talks about that, how your body, all the stresses inside your body, tearing your body apart, literally.
Yeah.
And so if you can't control it, then why worry about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what I was really wanting you to kind of talk about is your own experience, how you can say the proof is in the pudding for you, that everything works out. You have some experiences, I think, where you could share.
Yeah, absolutely. There was, some of the things that happen to me that I find the most interesting are the ones that are simple, that aren't that exciting,
Yeah.
you know, to talk about.
The parking spot?
That are just, you know, just little things I've noticed. I've noticed that meditation has changed a lot for me. Things that I didn't even know I needed changing. It totally. I've noticed this in the past couple of months. I'll give two little stories, and I think this is on track with what you're saying. But
Yeah.
basically, you know, I used to like get upset at like people driving, you know, and then somebody would cut me off, and I'd get frustrated. And I'd be like,
Guilty.
oh man. And so I'd hold on to that for 30 or 45 minutes. And I'd go, oh man, I let it affect my day, you know?
Yep.
And so meditation has kind of like rewired my brain to where now something like that happens. And so that'll happen. I'll still get upset and go, oh man. And then my brain just goes,
Change.
I don't really care. It's not even that. It just kind of just melts away. It's not like I tell myself, you know, I've been meditating. I need to like calm down. It's just my brain goes, I don't really care. So that's, I mean, one way that I know that meditation has made it to where things are going to be okay. It's another thing that happened that for me is around Christmas time I had $0, and I actually haven't ever told this story, but I told Jen. But so at Christmas time I had $0, and I knew for 3 months I had money was just peeling away. And I was going, man, and I couldn't get stressed out about it. I don't know why. And it wasn't like I was trying to be zen and be like, you know, it'll just be okay. It was like I was going, you know, all right, there's 10,000 or 8,000. I'm going to 0. You know, you know, I should. So I couldn't get stressed out about the fact that I was just spending money and not making money, and not erratically, but I was just living life. And so my brain could not go. I was getting stressed out about the fact that I couldn't get stressed out. And normally if I start to run low on money, I'm like, all right, you know, that's my motivation. I got to get back and doing some real estate. I got to go and do this.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it. So I went down to $0. And luckily I'm single and I live by myself. I don't have any kids. So I could afford to go broke and have some learning experiences. So I went broke. And I had no idea how I was going to come up with the money. I mean, I do know how to make a little bit of money, but I needed money now. Like I needed it to show up. And so I basically, I decided I was going to go to Cartagena, Colombia, Dr. Joe event, and that's going to cost some money. I got bills. My bills are pretty high compared to some other people. And so I needed some money to come in. So I went to work, but I started meditating. Started meditating about you know, being abundant every day. And as I did, to make a long story short, I went to work doing real estate, but I didn't even work. I had like 10 phone calls, 7 of them. They were all houses that I bought and sold all of them. 2 weeks, made $47,000.
Nice.
And so I totally went to the event, football tickets, you know, and I had a great time in Cartagena. And that just proves to me that even when things get tough, meditation is going to pull you out of it. You know, connecting with that meditation and spending time practicing that is what's going to pull you out of it. It's not good. It can't always be a lifesaver. It can be, but it's not always going to be a lifesaver. Like you don't meditate for 6 months and go, oh, I'm gonna meditate now. I need something to happen now. You know, it's a practice. It's a journey. You're a meditator now.
Well, it's aligning your energy. We're talking about spending time in meditation to align your spiritual energy. And when you align your spiritual energy, all the things that you're vibrating about will just fall into place. So if your alignment is askew and your vibrational energy is low, that's when people start cutting you off all the time. That's when you get the angry salesperson at the cash register.
Right.
That's when the bombs start dropping off around you. And my wife always tells me, and I get mad at her because she's right, but I don't want to hear it, you can negatively manifest just as well as you can positively manifest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you get your spiritual alignment where it needs to be and your vibrational energy matches, then boom, things just start falling in. So we talked early on about things you're excited about coming up in the future. We've kind of talked about things that are interesting that have happened to you coming up to this day, but what are some things you're looking forward to in the future?
Yeah, that's a good question. Or
mean, the world's your oyster now, right, bro?
No, I know.
Anything is possible.
That's part of the problem is I've now fully realized.
Too big of a menu.
Yeah, I'm like, where do I start? I could do anything now. I really did when I connected with the meditation. I realized that I can really live out my dreams. There's not a person that could tell me I couldn't, and I really knew that I could fulfill all of my dreams. And so I'm on that path, and I think there's some unknowns because this meditation has changed my mind, it's changed my body, and it's changed how I've responded to things. And so there's some uncertainty. I look different. I think different. My responses are different to people. So I don't know 110%. That's to be honest with you, but I do know that because I found meditation, my life is, I feel compelled that I'm on the right path right now.
Yeah.
And so no matter where I end up, it's going to be way better than where I was before. My life was going to be just fine without it. But I made the little shift, made the trajectory move, and I know that my life is enhanced tremendously from where it was. I was going to be okay, but this is going to be a way better looking life. I think 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, I'm going to look back and go, yep, that little shift right there. You know, I grew apart from my old self, and I'm going to end up in a lot of places that I'm going to go, man, I can't believe I made it here. But to answer your that's kind of the cheap way out, I guess. But,
no, I want to pause you, though, on something you said, because it's so cool. My wife and I talk about this, too, just how it feels right. You know, like you kind of briefly mentioned about how you thought they were paid actors on the stage for your first event.
Right, yeah.
And Cheryl and I had similar thoughts, you know, what is this, you know? And so we're kind of spooked a little bit by it, you know, because of the social tabooisms that are around us every day in our culture and stuff. And so once we got into it, that was always what we said was, is this right? Are we doing the right thing? You know, because for years we had been taught a little bit different way.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about religion and going to church, and we don't really like to talk about that much here, but you know, it is a real thing. People are like, well, are we going against something here that we've been taught for years? And both Cheryl and I said, you know, it feels right. You know, that's the only thing we know is that from the heart center, it feels good. It feels right. It feels proper. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel compelled and pulled towards it, you know, and not obsessively, not like, you know, oh, I found this thing that, you know, it's my new obsession or something. It's just like, I mean, the more I meditate, the more I go, things are going in the right direction. I mean, just the results that I've had, that I've chosen to have, and just the results that have just shown up where I go, I don't know, it's tough not to go by a day without meditating just for that alone, because I feel compelled and pulled towards it, that this is the right path. And I don't, like I said, I don't know what it'll look like, but I feel confident that it's going to be all right, because I got the cheat code to life. It's gonna get me there.
We were joking about Contra just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Up, down, down, left, right. You know, the code everybody should know, right?
Yeah. You didn't even have to finish it. I knew it was Contra. I was like, yeah, that's Contra. Yeah.
But it is kind of like that. We have the cheat code to life, and you know, Abraham Hicks is a new video rabbit hole I've been going down, and she talks about the grid and your vector. And your vector is like your vibration, and the grid is like the universe around you, and the grid gets filled in by the universe.
Right.
So she always says you don't put specifics in there. And I was thinking about that and really, you know, drilling into this concept. And in her words, you put the vibrations you want to feel, which vibrations then are emotions. So it's like, I want to feel proud of myself. I want to be successful. I want to be happy. And then the universe puts the ingredients in to fill that box. Now that is true walking into the unknown, because now you're not saying, I want to be a professional commercial airline pilot because that's going to make me feel proud and be successful. Right. Or I want to be an entrepreneur owning a successful restaurant chain, okay? Yeah, that's filling in the details.
Right.
You know, and you may not know, you kind of alluded to this, you may not know exactly, I think you said the foundation fixes, or the universe fixes the foundation. When you're up here trying to fix a high-level problem, the universe says, I'm going to go down here several levels and fix this.
And it'll take care of what you can see up on the surface.
And this is kind of mind-blowing for me, and this is where kind of state-of-the-art experience for me personally is, okay, quit trying to fill the details in the basket. Let's go for what you really want, Kyle, and that is true peace. That is true freedom. You know, I made a joke with one of my friends. I want to have mailbox money coming in. I don't know how it's going to come, but I want that mailbox money coming in, that I can be autonomous and I can go. And I could spread the knowledge, I can spread the love, and just do what feels good to Kyle and what the universe wants me to do.
Right.
And so that's what I'm trying to do right now, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think meditation, it's like I said, it gives you the confidence to be able to step out there and take some risk. And I don't know where I'll end up, but I do know that where I do end up, it'll be all right. I think that a lot of people say they want to become an airplane pilot. There was a lot of things that I said I wanted to be this or that, and then I actually got up against it and went, wait, no, I don't know why I thought that for years. And so meditation will help find you, because ultimately you want to find something you connect with, you get excited about. And I think meditation really will help you knock all the crap off and get you there. And
have you had this experience where
yes.
you think you think you want something and you don't get it? Or no, hang on a minute. You think you want something, you get it, you're dissatisfied. But let's go to the contrary. Through meditation, I think I felt this way, is that you realize what you have is good enough. Or what
Yes.
you have is more than good enough. Like what's sitting right here in front of you, the meditation process helps you value that at such a high level that now it's like, well, I don't need anything else. I was just on a weird mental, neurological channel that was telling me I need more, and what I have is not good enough. And have you had an experience like that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I've been a musician my whole life. I used to travel the world playing music and play with that's what I did every day. And it was great. And since I was 9 years old, I wanted to be a musician. But since meditating, I moved to Nashville. And as I was in Nashville, I started meditating more and more and more, and things started changing. And I went, I don't need to be in Nashville. I don't think I'll ever... I was chasing after something that I really didn't want. I thought that that's what I wanted to do because that's what I wanted to do since I was 9. Meditation kind of like updated my floppy disk computer. And so it got me to a place to where I could actually assess myself and go, hold on, that was fun when I was 9, but I'm not 9, and I don't need to be in Nashville to play music. And so I totally moved away from Nashville. And I've reevaluated how I'm going to do music in my life as opposed to chasing after it like I did before. So I definitely have. Am I on track with what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's good stuff.
So I definitely found that through meditation of, things that I thought I wanted. I came up against it, and then spending time meditating, I learned, wait, this is not really what I want. I will play music my whole life to some degree, but it's just going to look different than what I had always thought it was going to. And I'm happier for that, because the way that I actually envisioned it, I was doing that and I wasn't happy with it. So it's just my own ego saying that's the way it should be in order for me to feel okay. But that's not how it needs to be. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, totally. And I want you to share in a minute about what you're doing on your YouTube channel and other things. But before we get to that, I want you to express what you think would be really good information for somebody who's considering to start practicing meditation, whether it's through Dr. Joe's work or someone else's work. What would be some good advice to them about things that they should expect or not expect, and what the feelings will be like as they kind of work through that process? Because maybe they're just sitting there waiting, but they're too nervous to do it, or you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. So I do have a channel, and I've got some videos, and so a lot of people have reached out to me. So I have a lot of people that have reached out to me. I'm sure you guys do too. And one thing that I've noticed is that's why I talk about quick caring so much. So many people are worried about the right meditation. Yep. They're worried about, the books. Which book should I read? Which meditation should I use? How do I do the breath work better? That's all just information. And I think all that information is there. And Dr. Joe and other people as well too out there do a great job of giving information. But I think that information is really just there. You don't want to get obsessed about it, because I see a lot of people getting obsessed thinking that they need to know every word and page and chapter in the book. Well, I'm going to tell you that when you're connecting with the meditation and you're sitting there struggling, you're not going to go, hold on, let me go pull my book out real quick on page 72.
Right.
And this is what I'm supposed to do. That information is there for you to satisfy your mind, to to be able to make it okay for you to let go, to be able to connect with the meditation. You don't have to know everything. It's not necessary. Meditation works whether you believe in it or not, whether you know all the information or you don't. So I would tell people, don't get caught up in being obsessed with trying to know every detail. Just focus more on just trying to connect with that meditation. And that means quit caring less about all those things. But how much meditation? But what do I do with it? Just sit there and just be quiet and just kind of zone out and just quit caring so much. And don't make it about yourself. Like, you know, I want it to be like this. It's too hot in here. It's too cold. It's too loud outside. That stuff shouldn't really bother you. No, very rarely does anybody ever sit next to a waterfall and meditate in perfect conditions.
Right.
So that's just kind of like written in the book somewhere, or like it's a picture on the internet. So I don't know anybody that really does that. There's probably somebody out there that's going, no, I got a waterfall in my backyard. And,
Well, good for you.
yeah, good for you. But most people, and I've never meditated next to a waterfall, but I don't let things like that bother me. That has nothing to do with the meditation. That gives you an excuse to say, see there, it doesn't work. The lawnmower's going on outside. Yeah. And you should just be able to overlook that and just, like I said, quit caring about what everybody else is doing and just sit there and just zone out.
You reminded me of a really good story on that note. I was, I think it was the Orlando retreat, and somebody had given me bad information about the time to be back. And so I show up and the meditation's already started.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't let you in.
Oh, yeah.
They were locked. The doors were locked. So
Sure.
I'm like, crap, I really wanted to do that meditation. So there was a lobby area, and they had the speakers playing, so you could still hear Dr. Joe's meditation. So I looked over, and I saw this couch, and so I said, I'm just going to lay down on the couch. And I was like, well, I don't have my mask. I don't have my earphones. I was like, well, I don't need that. I got the speaker right there. And I said, I just took my hat off, put it over my eyes, laid down on the couch. Well, then I started hearing everything. You know how your sensory, like your nose can sometimes start smelling better in certain conditions, your ears can hear better?
Sure.
Well, my ears were like super hearing.
Yeah.
I heard this lady click-clacking on a keyboard, which was probably over 50 feet away from me. That's how keen my hearing got. But I just slowly, every time I heard something, I heard people whispering, heard people talking, heard people laughing probably 300 yards down the hall. But every time I had that, I just kind of tuned it out. And would you not believe that was probably one of the best meditations I had during that retreat?
Well, this is what I find a lot of people do, is they think that meditation is supposed to go down a certain way. If you've never connected with it, I'm telling you, it's an experience that you can't relate it to anything else you've ever had. And so for you to think that it needs to go down and behave and things need to be a certain way, that's your own ego taking over and letting you think that, oh, well, I see I can't do it because of this. I hate to say it, but you don't know how it's supposed to be yet. And so you have to quit caring about all that stuff. And the more you can do that, you can find what you came up with is, oh, that was a great meditation, have an experience that, you know, you haven't really had before. And yeah, I think that's one thing that people have to understand. You don't know what it's supposed to look like. It's like I tell people, it's like trying to explain the Grand Canyon to somebody. I can tell you what the Grand Canyon looks like all day long, and you go, yeah, that sounds really good, until you go and look at it and you go, oh, that's what you're talking about. So you can't, there's once you connect with that deep meditation, there's nothing that you can relate to in your past life that is even close. And I can only say that with confidence because that's what happened to me. When I have connect with it, it's hard to explain this stuff. That's why it's called the mystical. And so it's hard to put it into words for other people to understand. Yeah, that's quit trying to design your meditation and thinking that it has to be a certain way, because you don't know how it's supposed to be. You're looking for something. You have to go out there and be looking for something that you have never experienced before, and be 100% okay with that, if that makes sense.
No, I like that. So you and I have similar stories with the YouTube channel, and how you got started with your testimonial, putting it out there, and then it seemed like you've got positive feedback and kind of kept moving along that journey. And same thing with my wife and I. We both put our testimonials out there. So if you would, you know, give a shout out to your channel.
Yeah, sure. So you can check out my channel if you just type in Gregory Hodges in the search bar. It'll show up. You'll probably see my face on some thumbnails. And if you just type in Gregory Hodges meditation, it'll show up. That is probably the easiest way to go about finding it within YouTube. But yeah, we both talked earlier, it's very similar stories. I had an experience, your wife had an experience, y'all started doing some videos, and that's what happened to me. I did a video and had people reach out to me from all over the world. And they you know, the one thing that I kept finding was people were frustrated, and so I just tried to spend time of helping them overcome those frustrations and really see the light of how to be able to how to make that connection with the meditation. And people kept asking for more videos, so I did another video. People liked it. They said, "Come on, do another one." So I kind of got into it. I didn't plan to do this, and I think meditation kind of helped me guide me to this direction. And I feel I don't feel like I'm really teaching Dr. Joe's work. I think that's for him to do. He does a great job of that. But I feel like I'm more of like an adapter that I can, you can come in. Dr. Joe does a great job of teaching thousands of people at one time, but he can't specifically talk to one person or to two people with specific issues. So I'm more like, I feel like my channel is more geared towards being an adapter to that type of work. To be able to, for the people that are frustrated, how to, like I said, I can tell you what not to do more than I can tell you what to do.
Well, I look at it as just helping through our stories, share with other people so that they can say, oh yeah, I had that experience. Now I understand better. I'm not alone. Or some people would be like, well, I was nervous to get started, and because of us sharing our stories and other people, oh, that's not so bad. I think I might be able to do that. And so I think we're just helping spread that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you also do a meditation as well?
Yeah, so on Mondays I do, I try to do it every Monday if I can, if I got internet service and not traveling. But I do a live stream where I kind of talk about all things meditation for about 30 minutes. At the end of it, we have a whole group of people. We go over to a Zoom call and do a meditation, typically one of Dr. Joe's meditations. And yeah, so we do this as a group of people. It's a powerful thing. There's a lot of people out there doing that, but this is just what I do on Mondays, and so it's been a powerful group. We do a different meditation every week, and but yeah, it's a powerful group, good people that show up. So we want to invite anybody to come and join us, whether you know anything about meditation or not. You don't have to understand everything in order to meditate. So just jump in, hold on, and enjoy it.
Grab the bull by the horns.
Yeah,
huh?
if you don't understand everything, that doesn't mean you can't meditate. So just go in there, and it's not. You just go in there and show up and start doing it, and you'll be surprised what could happen.
Well, and speaking of being surprised, our connection came through one of our channel subscribers. She said, hey, you need to check out this Gregory guy. So I looked in, I was like, oh, cool. And so then you had an email there, and I was able to correspond with you, and here we are, you know, a couple months later or whatever it's been. And I just think that's so cool. That goes back to, and it's small, but it goes back to what we were talking about, just the universe filling in your grid, so to speak, and the things around you and the people that we're both coming into contact with and meeting, and it's so awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a great community, meditation in general, and with Dr. Joe's community, you know, and it's hard to find a person that's mean in that group.
Well, Jim said it best: networking with the heart. And you know, we're all there's these people of all walks of life coming together, and typically people are networking with their pocketbook, right? They're trying to benefit somehow,
trying
some
to get
way.
something.
And here it's networking with the heart, and I love that. I'm gonna have to keep I'm gonna have to get Jim's permission. I want to keep using that. I like that.
Make that a title or something. Yeah, make bumper stickers out of that. Make some
Well,
t-shirts.
it's certainly been a pleasure to visit with you and spend a little time sharing your story.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. It was a nice day. It's cool. The wind's blowing. You got a nice place here, nice family. Thank you for having me in here.
Yeah, thank you. Well, as usual, I'd like to say thank you to our viewers and love you guys. Appreciate your following us. We have the GoFundMe site, which is gofundme.com/Salty7. And for those that may not be familiar, that GoFundMe is for use specifically, and 100% of those funds go towards sponsoring another person to see Dr. Joe live at one of his week-long retreats. We did hit 5,000 subscribers a little while ago, and so as part of that, we decided to, with our own money, continue to contribute into the community. And so we will be asking people in the future for applications to pick another person to go to Dr. Joe retreat. So we're really super excited to be continuing that program. And then, of course, we have our email, which is Hotmail, or salty7@hotmail.com. Sorry, we changed our email up a little bit, so my apologies there. But anyway, as kind of a closure, I just love this work. I love the people. They're so genuine, as you have evidenced even sitting here today, coming to see us from many miles away. And I can't say thank you enough.
Hey, well, thank you for having me. I'm the same with you. I enjoy the community, the people. It's tough to share this information with a lot of just random people out there. So it kind of gives you like comfort knowing, hey, like, hey, we're on the same page here. You know, we're all all trying to get through life together, and we're using meditation to help with that. So
Give you a hug, brother.
yeah, man, come on. Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you.
Love you guys.
All right, see y'all later.